I don't know because I don't, 900,000 is the median. Holy shit. I mean, that's it's very expensive.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Let Me Ask You This. My name is Matt Roberts. I'm the California Association of Realtors Federal and Local Government Affairs Director. Joining me as always is my colleague Mike Falk, C.A.R's Public Policy Economist. Mike, this week C.A.R came out with its April home sales and price report. And what we wanted to do was talk about not just the sales and the price, but the report also has inventory, time on market, and a bunch of data for both the state as well as different counties. Why don't you take us through some of the top line numbers and let us know what was the report saying this month?
Yeah, so I have a couple numbers for you. The first is $910,610, which is the new record median home price in California, which we reached.
Astronomical.
Yes. The next number is very high, is 5, which is the number of consecutive months that we've seen pending sales drop in California. The last one I want to leave you with is 31, which is the number of months that home sales have been below 300,000 in California.
Okay, so a lot to unpack there. Let me ask you, of the numbers that jump out there, or the numbers that you talked about, there's a lot, and we love real estate, we love economics, we love policy. It can be kind of tough to get excited if you're hearing numbers like that. But which
Yeah.
one of those numbers just jumps out at you the most?
I mean, for me, it's the 31, the number of months where home sales have been below 300,000. And I would say, let me ask you this. You've been with the realtors through thick and thin. I mean, contextualize that for us. I mean, 31 months under 300,000. What does that mean?
Well, it's interesting because I agree with you that 31 months does jump out, and you got to understand how bad that is. That
Mm-hmm.
home sales or home prices are above 900,000. But what we really want to talk about is something else. You had looked up historically, home sales for the last 20 years, and they had really only dipped for a brief time under 300,000 during the housing crisis. I think they
Yep.
touched it for a month, maybe during COVID for a month or
Mm-hmm.
two. But we're talking 2023, 2024. We're almost halfway through 2025, and home sales will be below 300,000 again. This really has never happened in recent real estate market in California. Uh, Let me ask you this. What's a healthy market? I mean, what should sales be right now?
Historically, those 20 years that you talked about, we need to be reaching the 400,000 mark.
And we should be well over 400,000, really, is where
Mm-hmm.
we should be. I agree with you. So let me ask you, when you see the sales for the last 3 years under 300,000, what are we looking at? What's the cause?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of different factors. This 31-month period, this blah period, as I would call it using economic jargon, really began when mortgage rates started climbing for the first time. So when you have higher rates, that's just going to make it, just a little bit harder. We have the lock-in effect, which, as every day goes by, starts to thaw a little bit, but it's still there. And then you have, these other effects where, folks might not be selling because of capital gains. And so we've had these number of different reasons. And recently I would layer on a new one, which is economic uncertainty about tariffs, uncertainty about where mortgage rates are going to go. Like a month and a half ago, mortgage rates dipped to almost 6.5, and mortgage applications surged. So, that mortgage rate is something to keep an eye on, but it's not any one thing. And it's all creating kind of this headache.
Okay. So these are tough numbers, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
is there a silver lining in these numbers? Is there a bright spot? Is there something
Yeah.
that we look at and we say, okay, well, this is a positive.
Yeah. I mean, it might be a little contradictory. I just said that we hit a median home price record, but the rate at which prices are growing has started to slow,
Okay.
which means that there's more active inventory. You know, there's more time on the market for a lot of these homes. And the interesting thing is, sales are still happening pretty briskly, but the time on the market is going up a little bit, and the inventory is going up a little bit, and that's a good thing. I mean, that's something that we've been waiting for.
Okay. So do we think there's going to be any drastic changes when we jump on in a month from now and we're looking at the May numbers, or is this something that's gonna take a while to work through?
I mean, I think listings are going to continue to climb. This is prime home buying season. This is typically when people list. This is typically when people buy. So I'm hoping that gives a little juice to the market. Um,
Okay. Well, this was a good discussion, if not good news, but but the numbers are the numbers. The market is what it is, and we continue to be in a housing crisis. And we appreciate you, Mike. We appreciate you joining us. We're going to put a link, if you're on YouTube, we'll put a link below to the housing release that we did earlier this week. And thank you for joining us. Deanne, don't mess up the edit of this, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
but